You're stupid. Yeah, you heard me. Put your volume up so you can hear me a little bit better. You're stupid. And no, I'm not talking about you, the person watching the video, unless you're the IGN reviewer who reviewed Demon Slayer, then you're stupid. Or unless the thing that you're holding or you've got there or whatever is actually stupid, then I'll be the person to tell you you're stupid. But here, I'm going to talk about the reviewer who reviewed the new season of Demon Slayer, because I think that this might just be one of the worst reviews on IGN ever. Now, I'm not the biggest IGN critic, and I'm not going around adapting my own breathing style to fucking chop their heads off, but I'm kind of in the gray area with them. Like, they do some alright reviews, but they do some stinky ones, like giving Alien Isolation, one of probably still the greatest horror games we've had, one of the greatest just atmospheres we've had in a horror game in a while, a 5.9, but also giving what I think is the best Pokemon remake, and arguably maybe one of the best Pokemon games ever in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, a 7.8, and saying that one of the cons is that it has too much water. Stuff like that really just puts IGN in one of my bad books. Like, I want to put them over there in the little naughty corner, but overall, I don't really care about them. But the Demon Slayer review that they've given is shocking, to say the least. They gave the new Demon Slayer season a 3. You heard me correctly, a 3 out of 10. Now, I don't think the new season's a 10 out of 10. Like, if the new season was a person, I don't think it's Chad going out there and fucking your mom and your girlfriend both at the same time. I don't think it's a pussy slayer, by any means. I like it. If I were to give it a score, I'd probably give it somewhere around the 8. At a push, 8.5. But if you're someone, and I'm assuming that this reviewer is, if you're someone that likes Demon Slayer enough to watch 3 seasons of it, I think the lowest you can go for this season is a 5, at best. Just say it's, you know, it's a season. It's there, it did its job, whatever. I think that's the lowest. But giving it a 3 is fucking absurd. I don't know what this guy's got in his crack pipe that he's smoking, but it's some fucking loopy shit, because this guy was not watching the same Demon Slayer as me. So let's go through his review. I'm not just gonna call him fucking stupid for the sake of it. Let's go his review, and I'll give my 2 piece of his review. Demon Slayer's recently concluded Hashira training arc feels very much like a video game. Specifically, the part of an RPG where you go around your camp talking to every companion, hoping that they say something interesting, knowing that most of them will just spout out some generic dialogue, then walk away. This is not to say that downtime before the grand finale is a bad thing, but the Hashira training arc is so poorly executed that it made me long for the overly long and endearing fight scenes of Season 3. I could not disagree with this more. Comparing this to talking to NPCs in the game is such a reach, particularly because this helps the ending of the series so much, not because of any lore or anything. I'm going to try and not touch on spoilers as much as I can here, so don't worry about getting spoiled. I might talk about Season 4 a bit, so if you haven't watched Season 4, click off, obviously, but I'm going to try not to touch anything on the ending, because I have read the manga very loosely. I do know stuff that happens, but not 100%, so again, I'll try and stay away from that. But anyway, this arc helps the ending, not in any lore-wise or anything, but because I don't want to get to the ending, and now that we know there's 3 films, I don't want the films to be littered with flashbacks, which they already are going to have some flashbacks of some moments, but I don't want there to be fucking littered with flashbacks when I'm going to watch a movie with fight scenes and character development and stuff like that. I'm really glad that they took the time to pick a season out, go episode by episode, give us fleshed out information and backstories on a lot of these Hashiras that we didn't know anything about, and do it in such a way that I thought was extremely entertaining. Not only that, the training of the training arc itself was super fun. Take Obanai, for example. I don't know a lot of the names. I might mess up a lot of the names, but the serpent-breathing one, Obanai, his training I thought was probably the best out of the whole lot, because of the way serpent-breathing works. The way his training was set out was super fucking cool. You kind of had to dodge and weave all of the Demon Slayer corps, because he's this type of character where it's like, my way or the highway. If you get hurt, that's just all a fucking part of training. You have to trust in your own companions here, or if you don't, you're gonna hurt, or you're gonna hurt them. So it's really cool the way he set up all the things to try and hit this one target without trying to hit his teammates, because he knows that the way demons fight, they're probably all gonna get in the way of each other. Not only that, it really fits his breathing style. So it's really cool to see how they incorporate their breathing with the training that they do on a daily basis or whatever, or the way they train like their own Demon Slayer people. I thought that was really cool, and it led to a lot of cool sequences, a lot of cool animation, and just in general, I thought it was really fun. I thought a lot of the other Hashira's trainings were meh. I thought the sound one was pretty cool. You kind of see how a lot of these Demon Slayers, because they don't have powers. I only realized this the other day. The Demon Slayer itself, there's no powers apart from the demons themselves. These are just, the Demon Slayer corps are pretty much just slightly superhuman humans. All of the like special effects and stuff you see apparently is just for us to watch. All of the stuff they do is just a training form of that they do, like water form or wind form or whatever, which I think is weird because the wind style Hashira does do pulses of air that breaks like fucking rocks, which I would say is slightly superpower-ish. But anyway, that's not the point of it. I thought a lot of the training arc was done in a way where you got the information you needed to have, and it was super entertaining. Not only that, we got a huge character development for Gyu and Gyome, two Hashiras that we don't see a lot, and they're probably one of the upper echelons of the Hashiras. And we also see that Zenitsu now has a reason to fight. A lot of this training arc I thought was extremely well placed, and Ufotable did a great job of doing it in the most entertaining way possible. Now, I am only picking snippets of the review, so if you want to go see the full review, it's down in the description, but I'm only picking out the bits that I think are relevant and not just him elaborating on a lot of his points. Now, he carries on by saying, it's especially painful when one of the characters who should be getting some attention and dimension is nowhere to be seen. In the premiere, we learned that the Demon Slayer Corps is doing this emergency training camp because Nezuko unlocked a special ability that makes her a target to every demon in the world. Yet Nezuko only shows up for that episode, and she literally gets 7 words of dialogue in, most of which are part of a joke. For 4 seasons, we've been led to believe that Nezuko is important, yet Demon Slayer throws us away any chance it gets to actually show us why, or to make us care about this character. Now, I either don't understand this guy's point, or he must be watching some fucking other, like Kaiju number 8 or something, because we got everything we possibly need from Nezuko. Absolutely everything. We've been through a journey with her, we know her backstory, we know her demon art, we know she can fight. She's now a target for the demons, so she's not just going to go out and fight with them. And the whole point of her only saying a few words, no fucking shit. By the looks of it, she's recovering from being a demon, so she's now able to expose herself to sunlight, and she's starting to speak a few words. When someone has, this is a bit of a reach of a connection, but when someone has a horrible injury and they can't walk, they're not just going to fucking heal themselves and start finally being able to walk. They start walking slowly. Same thing with her. She starts to get a few words out, and then slowly as the series progresses, I'm assuming, she gets more and more words out. She's not just going to recover from not speaking to fucking just, blah, blah, blah. Hey, guess what, guys? I can do Rap God. Now, this is a point I 100% agree on. Then there's the final, in which we finally see the show's big bad Kibutsuchi Muzan do something for once. It's not a fight or something actually cool. Instead, there's an extended sequence of Muzan's smooth criminaling his way into the house of the Demon Slayer Corps leader in one of the most self-indulgent and pointless scenes to be animated this year. Now, I wouldn't go as far as he does as to say that it wasn't cool. I thought it was pretty fucking cool. I really enjoyed the scene. But I do agree with him in saying that was one of the longest, most semi-useless scenes I've seen. Like, if it was like a minute or a minute and a half or something like that, really cool. I'd really enjoy it. But it lasted like I don't want to put words in other people's mouth, or I don't want to spit out wrong facts. But it felt at least like it lasted 3 or 4 minutes. Like, it lasted a really fucking long time. And I understand that it was like the end credit scenes and they were trying to mix it in with the animation itself. But still, I felt like it was a little bit too much. But I don't think that that's a point to make to rate this season a fucking 3 out of 10. He ends off with his verdict saying, Demon Slayer's Hashira training arc is the show at its lowest point. This is an exercise in excess and self-indulgence in squeezing every drop of content from the premise to pad out runtime before the big finale. The chance to learn more about the characters, or see them change or grow, is wasted in favor of more silly gags, extended sequences of characters walking. Again, I don't know what this guy watched. I could list at least 5 things that we learned about Gyome's backstory. We learned why Gyu is so nonchalant with everyone, a bit of an asshole with everyone. We learned more about the Wind Hashira and how he's the brother of the other guy, I can't remember his name, and kind of their character dynamic between them. There's a lot of cool scenes in this whole season as well, with a lot of the training. We even got an extra extended scene from Ufotable itself of the Hashiras fighting each other, and yes, it wasn't the longest thing, but it was cool to watch for the 20-30 seconds that it lasted. We have a lot of character growth from Zenitsu. We have a lot of character development from Tanjiro himself, finally being able to even look and understand the Hashira's fight. He was kind of thinking like, oh, you know what, I can maybe like stand fighting with them for a couple of minutes, where he definitely wasn't able to last time. We see the Demon Slayer Corps leader giving this backstory of why he's going to sacrifice himself, his big finale, his connection with Muzan. This season has so much to unpack. And like I said at the start, in fact, I don't even know if I said it at the start, I like Demon Slayer. It's not my top 5 anime. It might not even be in my top 10. That's not because it's a bad series. I just have a lot of heavy hitters in my top 10. But it's still an incredibly good show. And like I said, if you've watched 3 seasons of it, which I'm assuming this reviewer has, you like the show for its gags, which it has a lot of anyway. If you like season 1, a lot of gags. Season 2, a lot of gags. Season 3, a lot of gags. Season 4, there's no difference. If anything, it's more of a wind down. And the fact that he says in part of his interview that this season's a bit more mundane and it kind of lacks that pace that I had before, no fucking shit. We're building up to the grand finale. We're giving characters that didn't have the spotlight some spotlight to shine and grow and have this character development before the big fight. Because like I said, I don't want to go into the cinema where there's this big finale of this fight scene and everything, and it'd be littered with flashbacks that, yes, it will be cool, but I don't want to fight for 2 minutes, then have a 3-minute flashback, then fight for 2 minutes, then have the opposition's flashback, then fight 3 minutes, and then have fucking a flashback of someone having their fucking endoscopy done, and then flashback, and then have someone's fucking 12th birthday done. Like, I don't want that. And that's what this training arc has accomplished, and accomplished in a super entertaining way. Now, if you want to give the whole season a 3, fine, go for it. I'm not going to come over to your house and clap your cheeks. But if you watch the finale as part of that whole season, at the very least, if you give it a 3, that finale bumps up to a 5 minimum. The VFX show there is incredible. And I know what people are going to say, oh, the show is carried by VFX, which I think a 0.5 on top of whatever you give is fine. Like, I don't think the VFX do that much for the show. I think the show is a great show with a great premise and a great story. But the ending had great VFX. One of the greatest explosion scenes I've seen. You then see the Demon Slayer Corps leader, I can never remember his name, and Muzan kind of see the connection between them. A lot of lore breaking out. You get great action sequence at the end. Yes, it didn't last the most, and it's not with the Hashras, but you see it with Tamayo. And then the Hashras do finally come in, and you see them all use the breathing technique. Yes, they don't actually end up using it, but you get to see it. You also get a snippet of the Infinity Castle, which is the next arc. There is so much to... I could list a fucking huge amount of things to unpack in the season. And like I said, if you don't like this season, that's fine. I think the lowest you can possibly give it is a 5, but I guess anyone's entitled to their own opinion. But in my opinion, a 3 is absurdly low, and it just kind of reinforces the fact and this idea that people think that IGN can't review stuff, because they really can't. When you have the memes of too much water, when you have giving Alien Isolation a 5.9, when you have giving most Call of Duty games and a lot of Assassin's Creed games, which are copy and paste, scores higher than an 8, and they're 2 games that I fucking love. I loved Odyssey, but I don't think it's a... Well, what did they give Odyssey? Like a 9.2? It's not a 9.2. And giving every COD, and I love shooters, above a 9 every year, when they are copy and paste, is absurd. And now they've done it again by giving Demon Slayer, which is one of the most hype and great anime shows we've had this year with this season. Maybe I'm glazing it a bit too much there. But a great season. A 3 out of 10 is absurd. It blows my mind. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think. Is he correct in saying it? What score would you give it? I personally, I'd probably give this season, the training arc season, I think a 7.5 is good. Maybe an 8 at push, an 8 on a really good day. I do think it was a very solid arc. There wasn't loads of sequences. There wasn't anything exactly spectacular apart from that ending. But a 3 is like I've said a million times, a 3 is absolutely absurd. Anyway, yeah, IGN is not doing themselves any favor, apart from maybe trying to get some rage bait, then they've won, because I've rage baited on that page like 3 times. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Bye.